Good morning, friends. Happy holidays. If you are holiday people, if you celebrate holidays, then happy holidays to you. I wanted to come with a quick civics lesson this morning, um, really on how a bill becomes a law. I know that that's something that I have not talked about on my channel and wanted to take a few minutes to talk about it because it's really important, I think, that people understand that there is indeed a process. I know probably a number of people who are going to watch this to its completion probably understand that. But I think that what I am seeing is there are a lot of people who think that what is actually happening in this administration is normalized. So you then get people who think that a president alive can just go and take over a board of a arts and humanity building that was dedicated to a former president, built for a former president, because there's no statuary of any sort to that president, like on the mall. So it was a tribute to a president who was assassinated and who contributed so much to the forward movement of this country. So you have people who think that that's normal. That ain't normal. You have people who think that an administration can that the Congress can pass a bill, an administration, a president can sign it, and then just dilly dally in terms of enacting the bill. What does the bill say? What has to happen now that the bill has been passed? Um, and so you have people who think that an administration that has to, by law, a DOJ, Department of Justice, has to release files to Congress and to the rest of the public. And that DOJ can just kind of release whatever they want to release, redact the hell out of it, and then on the next day come back and say, oh, well, we're going to pull these files back. That's not normal. So, how does a bill become a law? Really quick, some quick steps. I'm using a little product a little digital product, like a short pamphlet book um, that um, I think is pretty good. And the reason I think it's pretty good is because I wrote it. So, if you're interested in it, it will be above. Moving on. So you should think of a bill as an idea that any sitting member of Congress can introduce to the rest of the congressional sitting body. So if you have a member of Congress, they think we have a really good idea because we need to see X, Y, and Z. This would benefit the people in my district. It would benefit the people in my state. It would benefit the people in the rest of the country. They take their idea, they put it to paper in a particular form that is then known as a bill, and they go to the floor of the House and they put it in a special wooden box called the hopper. And then from the hopper, that's where the bill starts. Every bill starts in the hopper. And then from the hopper, it's pulled out, it's looked at by the clerk of Congress, the person sitting there who continue to build out that document and mark it up and prepare it to be or to go to committee, because it doesn't just go to the floor. It comes out, it receives a number. In the House, it would receive an HR number. So that's a House Resolution 100 or something of that sort. It goes to committee. And that HR 100 is looked at, it's studied, it's researched in committee, and it is debated in committee. So it's going to be debated, it's going to be amended. That's why when people talk about poison pills being added to bills, oftentimes poison pills are added to bills in committee, but they can add them later as well. So um, it's going to be amended in committee, and one of three things happens in committee. It's either it is either voted out of committee, it is either killed in committee, or it's amended and then voted out of committee. And then from there, it actually goes to the full House floor, where you then see another process happening of we then have to vote it so that it can then go to the Senate. We will vote against it so that it dies in the House, or it's amended and then it's either voted for or voted against. Here's the step that most people miss in between it leaving committee and going to the House floor. The Speaker of the House has to then put it on the schedule to even hit the House floor. So when you hear people like Hakeem Jeffries say, we developed this bill, it was voted out of committee, and it is sitting on the Speaker's desk. It's sitting on the Speaker's desk because the Speaker has not put it on the schedule to go out to the floor. As the Speaker can kill a bill by not even letting it go to the floor to be voted on. So, let's just say HR 100 has made its way all the way out of committee. It has gone to the floor, and on the floor, it has passed. A bill has passed. What happens then? The bill does not go to the president's desk. The bill goes to the Senate. Let me step back one step back. For that bill to have passed, simple majority vote. There's 435 members. 218 of those members have to say we vote yes for this bill to move forward. You have to have more people voting for the bill than you do either having voting against it or abstaining from voting at all. So HR 100 has made its way all the way out of the House. It's headed over to the Senate. When it gets to the Senate, guess what happens? Kind of the same process. It gets to the Senate. The number changes. It is no longer a House resolution. It was a House resolution in the House, or on the House side of Congress, we should say. When it gets to the Senate side, it becomes an SR. It becomes a Senate resolution bill. So it then would become SR 100, or SR, if they decide to change it, then it's SR this, that, or the other. Okay? Same bill, just an amended bill or a bill that has been voted as is out of the House of Representatives over to the Senate. The Senate then sends it to committee. They research it. They amend it. They say yes, no, maybe so to the bill in committee. It has to pass out of the Senate committee as well. And once it passes out of the Senate committee, most likely the Senate has made adjustments to that bill. They have tacked on to the bill. They've changed it in some way or another, so that before the Senate bill, well, let me just say this, so that the Senate bill has to then be voted out of committee. It's put on the schedule. It's debated on the floor. So when you see senators long acquiescing about a bill and talking about how that bill will affect their constituents in their districts, in their states, in the region, they are having a deliberative process that further examines that bill. The House is supposed to move quick. The Senate is a slower, more deliberative body. So they are there to debate law, because once the law leaves the Senate, one of two things are happening. If the Senate changes a bill drastically, the bill is then passed out of the Senate. It doesn't go to the president's desk. It goes back to the House. Because then what has to happen is a committee has to come together to decide which of these bills are we going to accept. Are we going to is the Senate going to just say, okay, we can do away with our changes and accept the House's bill? Or is the House going to say, okay, we can do away with some of the stuff that we had in our bill, pull in what the Senate said they wanted, and then um, they have to reconcile the bill, and then it is enrolled, and then it goes to the president's desk. So they come into committee to decide, how do we reconcile these bills? And then once that happens, so the let's just say the Senate changed a couple of things. They went into committee, because it then goes back to it has to go back to the House after it leaves committee. That's another step. Goes to committee, they figure out what that final bill should look like. It has to go back to the House. And you know what? The House has to vote on the bill again. The House votes on the bill again. The House says, okay, fine. Then it is enrolled. There's a process here called enrollment. The bill then has to be enrolled. Once that happens, let me add this. So again, we've covered it. It returns to the House, final approval. The Senate does its final approval. Then the final bill is sent to the publishing office, which prints the revised bill in a process called enrolling. That's where that enrolling piece comes in. So that we are not confused, the committee came together because the Senate changed the bill. It was approved. That bill that they changed was approved in the House. It had its final approval in the Senate. It went to the publishing office where it was enrolled. That is the last step where you see a bill go to the president's desk, and it's in this beautiful binded piece of whatever, and the president has this signing ceremony in his office. Excuse me. That's where it comes from. Okay. From that point, the president has 10 days to either sign the bill, veto the bill, or do nothing to the bill. And if the president does nothing to the bill, then the bill automatically becomes a law. So, 10 days, I'm going to either sign this bill, I'm going to veto it, or I'm just going to leave it be, and then just let the chips fall where they may. Kind of the same process, mostly the same process that happens in the states, because governors, it's the same thing. 10 days, you're going to either sign that bill, you're going to veto it, or you're just going to let the bill take its course. So I said all of that and went over all of that to say, an administration just running over and just ramshod and just kind of just bulldozing past the legislative body is A, it is not law. It is against the law. And B, that's not normal. That is just not normal. So that's why elections matter. That is why involvement matters, and knowing the processes matter. Whether you are going to be a part of the process or not, knowing it still matters. Because that's the only way that you can activate and hitch your wagon to the right side, to the right horses on the right side of the trail going in the right direction. Because otherwise you get foolishness like, I am going to change the name of the Kennedy Center, which can only be done by the congressional process. It has to go through Congress, which I'm going to change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. That's against the law. That has to be done by Congress. There really is Political science and government really is, it's a science. It is a thing. There are real things working in the background that are supposed to work for the benefit of the people within the country that the government is actually working in. What you see happening right now is not working for anyone. No one.